Why is that? Because the CDSs contain not just 3 or 5 tranches, but they contain up to 100 different values. And each of these values is under default risk. To give you an example, Barclays Investment Bank, which played a major role in this business in the last years, offered a value called Volante. Those of you who have an interest in racing cars and expensive cars know the name because Aston Martin has been offering a car under this name for many, many generations. So it's a wonderful car, I must tell you. So it's a nice name, a persuasive name. Volante was actually quite persuasive for many, but Volante, among the 100 values of Volante, when it was offered on the market, already 18 were under subprime sort of question marks. Subprime values, already under suspicion. And Volante and Barclays was able to deposit, as they call it, deposit 100 million euros risks. They just got rid of it, and they sort of got money for something which didn't exist anymore. So the CDSs were used in a morally absolutely negative way. Or another case, AIG, an American insurance company, they were big in this CDS business, and from a certain point on, they were not able to control the risk themselves. And the debts ran up to 62 billion US dollars. Now, AIG is a very important firm with lots and lots of connections into the banking world and into the rest of the business world. So the United States government was not prepared to let AIG down, so they cover these betting debts of 62 billion US dollars. Now you might assume that the normal type customer, individuals or small companies, got the money back from the US government, so that the tax money goes from one pocket into the other. But this is a total misunderstanding. These 62 billion US dollars went straight away to the pocket of Goldman Sachs, GS, Deutsche Bank, and Société Générale. So the big investors in this game got money. They were sort of, in a way, they got away with it. They got the money they wanted to have for the bets they were involved in. And even worse than that, Goldman Sachs, actually 2 days ago, they claimed that they wouldn't have done it, but 3 months ago they admitted to have done it. So, but this is now, of course, at the US courts, and it's a serious business now. Goldman Sachs was involved in the reconstruction of CIT. CIT is a bank for smaller businesses, and they were in trouble, and Goldman Sachs offered a $1 billion credit to them. So CIT was a customer, a normal type customer for Goldman Sachs. But Goldman Sachs not only offered this $1 billion US dollars to CIT with a guarantee that the money would come back immediately if CIT would go bankrupt. So they had a kind of contract with CIT, and there was no risk at all for Goldman Sachs. But what did they do? They bet against their own customers. They bet against CIT. And the sum was exactly $1 billion as well. So in the worst case for CIT, Goldman Sachs would get away with $2 billion gains. I think this is against all sorts of rules of fairness. And I think it's not to be tolerated anymore in the future. And this is what I mean when I said that in this case, or in these cases, market failures are moral failures at the same time. Goldman Sachs betted against their own customers. Now, to give you an idea of the sum total of CDSs in the world, this kind of money which didn't have any kind of positive effect because it was not anymore used to hedge risks. It is only used to gain from the bankruptcy of firms and customers. The global amount of CDSs in the second half of 2007 grew up to $60 trillion US. Just to give you an idea, the sum total of the GDP in the world is 58. So this is higher than the GDP of the whole world, if I'm informed correctly. Now to sum up what to do, I think if we talk about ethics and globalization, we should come down to recommendations which are not cloudy and open to 100 ways of interpreting them. We should come down to clear-cut rules. And I'm proposing a couple of rules here. You can read it. I don't comment every single one. I think what we need, that's I think the major rule is, there's no way in forbidding CDOs as long as they are used to hedge risks, but the market got to be transparent. No over-the-counter businesses anymore. Offer them at the stock exchange. The stock exchange is perfectly screened and controlled. And the customers should know what they are doing. Another point is, I think the President of the United States, Barack Obama, he once proposed to split investment banks from business banks again. I think he should do that. I think this is a way to stop this process, which is a disaster for the global markets, not just for the financial markets. And I think we should hope for a global legal control. There is no ethical control, but legal control of international financial markets. And I think the risks we face, every single European nation and the United States of America, the risk which has to be covered by the taxpayers' money nowadays, I think this risk can't be repeated because there is no money anymore for that. There was only one shot in the gun, and I think that shot has been triggered off. So I think we don't have a chance anymore to cover risks the amount the United States or Europe did over the last few months. So the last point is, I think we should describe the responsibilities and liabilities for the global financial market as we did that for other types of industries and products before. If you don't do that, it will be unclear, to use Goya's nice picture, who is sort of dying and who is curing the person or the one who is ill. Thanks very much.